His Excellency Mr. Jean-Marie Claude Germain, Minister of Environment of Haiti. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Madame la Présidente,
Madam President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and a special privilege for me to take the floor for this August Assembly on the occasion of this climate conference, and I'd like to avail myself of this opportunity to share with you the support and unconditional commitment of the President of the Republic of Haiti, His Excellency René Préval, his commitment to the success of this summit, and he shares with you the concerns related to new challenges posed to humanity as a result of climate change. Numerous speakers that preceded me have shown the results of industrial policies that do not respect the right of future generations to a good quality of life. Already in different areas of the world, especially in the Caribbean, we have seen worrying phenomena like the rise of sea levels and the growth of surface temperature. These changes are the main reasons for the continued erosion of our beaches, the salinization of our aquifers and of estuaries of fresh water, and the blanching of the coral reef. The consequences of this phenomena are even more important for small island development states such as Haiti, which face a whole range of economic and structural challenges. The Grenada Declaration on behalf of AOSIS, which is fully supported by Haiti, has demonstrated our special situation, which has been qualified typical example of vulnerability by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Our country, therefore, supports the position of AOSIS related to the nature of the agreement and commitments that we've taken here, namely 1.5 degrees Celsius as the maximum level of rise in temperatures and 350 ppm as an objective of CO2 emissions, which indeed is the red line that should not be crossed in order to ensure the survival of small island developing states. Climate change concerns all of us. Developed countries, small island developing states that are seeking the answer, and this answer should be comprehensive, that should involve all countries without exclusion, including Taiwan, and it is an island state, and this justifies the inclusion of it in our concerns. Madam President, climate change in Haiti has modified in a drastic manner the flow of our rivers. The floods that usually happen every 10 years now happen annually, and this not only undermines our growth, but also exacerbates the situation of the only least developed country in the Western Hemisphere and threatens the implementation of the Millennium Development Goals. These changes also threaten the fundamental right of each Haitian to satisfy the needs in food. And the floods provoked by Hurricanes Hannah, Ike, Faye in 2008 practically wiped out the gardens of agricultural workers and undermined their agricultural activity. The total sum of damage has been estimated by the World Bank Group of $900 million US. In other words, 15% of the GDP of Haiti in 2007. At the same time, the right of each Haitian citizen to live in conditions of security and in peace and dignity has also been affected by climate change. This is illustrated by the floods that happen regularly in the village of Gonaive, and with the destruction of houses and force people to move to refuge centers. The effects of climate change have also been felt by the various segments of the Haitian population that already are in a vulnerable situation related to poverty. The elderly, Haitian women, especially older women and girls, they're all facing the negative consequences of floods. This is why, despite the difficulties that we're facing, we as a country express our support to the UN Convention on Climate Change and Kyoto Protocol, and we continue to take specific steps aimed at strengthening our capacities in the face of climate change. We're taking urgent measures related to poverty, education, health, and housing. And despite all of these problems, we need an urgent response to the different problems, and we have been giving in our development policies a special priority to issues related to climate change, even though our contribution to GHG emissions is very low. Madam President, adaptation is key, and it should take different forms. This is why we are in favor of adaptation of the different sectors of the economy related to fishing, agriculture, infrastructure, and services. It is important also to help small island developing states to rehabilitate their forests. This is the only way to limit the impact of global warming on our populations as a result of GHG emissions. As part of adaptation, we can also create biological corridors on land and sea in order to preserve biodiversity. This is why the government of Haiti is part of a regional comprehensive agreement working together with countries like Cuba, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Puerto Rico for the creation of the first biological corridor in the Caribbean. Just like other biological corridors, its objective is to preserve biodiversity of the region. But in addition to protecting the biodiversity, this initiative has a more broader perspective, namely the integration of concerns related to poverty and climate change. COP15 is taking place at a time when we are facing an unprecedented rise in the different phenomena related to climate change throughout the world. Thus, it is indispensable for developing countries, and especially for LDCs and SIDS, such as Haiti, to adopt measures related to mitigation and adaptation to climate change through sufficient financial mechanisms and strengthening of investment and transfer of technology. Has been stressed by the group of least developed countries. Additional financial resources will be necessary to ensure adaptation, and the special and specific nature of the most vulnerable countries like SIDS and the LDCs should be recognized, and relevant decisions should be taken. It is also important, as provided by the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, that there is a conjunction of efforts in the international community in order to strengthen the resilience of developing countries and to combat the impact of climate change on their economic development. Copenhagen should become Hope-Hagen, that source of hope, and we strongly believe that despite the difficult choices that we have to make and the great sacrifice that we have to make, we will come up with a substantive, balanced agreement for humanity. This is a result of the common but differentiated responsibility related to the efforts that should be given to fight climate change. And through these commitments, we should be paving the way for the post-Copenhagen future. Thank you.